Hey, Algebra 2 peeps, what's up? This is Mr. Miller coming at you from Clark High School on October 25th, Wednesday. It's about 4:30, and basically, I guess I have no life. Fall break has started, and I'm still here doing stuff. Yay me! No, all joking aside, it's cool. I'm happy to do these videos for you, and I hope you'll take the time to take notes as you're watching them. That will help you. And I'll expect to see these notes in your notebooks when I check them in December. So please write this stuff down, put them in your notes. Please watch all the videos in their entirety. I'm doing my best to keep them short without sacrificing vital information. And with that said, let's just go ahead and get rolling. What we're going to be looking at in this video and in the following videos is solving quadratic equations by factoring. And you're going to have to rely heavily on what we did Wednesday, November 1st. Now, this is really weird. Today's October 25th, and I'm making a video that I'm going to expect you to watch on the e-learning day, and I'm referring to the past tense when it's actually going to be in the future. So it's really weird. Anyway, you're watching these videos November 2nd, hopefully, and when I refer to yesterday, I'm talking about Wednesday, November 1st, what we did in class. We factored quadratic expressions, trinomials. All right, so let's just get right down to it. It's fussing at me. There we go. All right, let's start off by talking about the zero product property. These are some preliminaries that you need to know about before you can solve quadratic equations. So the zero product property, it sounds like this big thing. It's really not. All it means is if you multiply stuff, let's say you're multiplying A and B together, if you get 0 after you multiply that stuff together, then that means either A was 0 or B was 0, or both things were 0. Let's take a look at a concrete example. Let's say we're multiplying x plus 5 times x minus 4, and we want the result to be 0. Well, the only way we can get 0 is if one of these two factors ends up being 0. That is, x plus 5 could equal 0, or x minus 4 could equal 0. Because if x plus 5 ends up being 0, 0 times who cares what this is, 0 times stuff is still 0, or if x minus 4 ends up being 0, for instance, if x is 4, here you get 4 minus 4, that becomes 0. Here you get 4 plus 5 is 9, but who cares about what this is because it's still going to get multiplied by 0. Stuff times 0 is still 0. That's all the zero product property is saying. You multiply stuff, you get 0. One of the things, at least one of the things in that stuff had to have been 0. Okay, now, this is very, very importante. In order to solve a quadratic equation by factoring, there are two conditions that have to be met. The first condition is you have to have 0 on one side of the equation. And it's not a perfect world, and in most cases, you're going to be handed quadratic equations where you do not have 0 on one side of that equal sign. Your goal is to get 0 on one side of the equal sign, because you can't solve a quadratic equation by factoring without 0 on one side. The second thing, the equation must be in standard form. Now let's go back to standard form right quick. We talked about it in class on Wednesday, what that means. So all standard form means is your variables, the exponents on the variables get smaller and smaller from left to right. We start with the biggest exponent on the variable, which is 2. Then we go down to x to the first. We don't write the 1 because it's unnecessary. And then here we have no x's, or x to the 0. That's all standard form is saying. We have highest exponent first, a 2, x squared. Then we go down to 1. And then we go down to no x's, or x to the 0. Okay, what we're going to look at now on the next slide are the steps that are going to help you solve these quadratic equations by factoring. Okay, last time I moved this, because this is like my third time doing this video, when I moved this, it disappeared, and I'm not touching it. Just know that behind there it says steps. Steps to solve quadratic equations by factoring. Okay, step 1, get 0 on one side of the equal sign if it already isn't. Like I said, a lot of times you're going to have to get 0 on one side. It's not going to be given to you. You're going to have to rearrange stuff to get 0 on one side. Step 2, factor out the GCF, greatest common factor, if it's something that's other than 1. Now, if your GCF is 1, you can still factor it out, but there's no reason to because you factor out 1, you're not changing what you were given. Step 3, factor the quadratic. Now, step 3 is where you want to remember what we did in class on Wednesday, November 1st. How I showed you guys how to factor these quadratics, because if you can't factor them, you're not going to be able to solve them. Very, very important that you refer back to your notes in class from yesterday, November 1st. And if you have any questions on how to factor something, you can always email me, and I'll be happy to help you over email, since today is actually the e-learning day when you're supposed to be watching these videos. If you get stuck, send me an email, and I'll be glad to give you a refresher with factoring. But the good news is I'm going to be demonstrating factoring in these next several videos anyway, so if you forgot or you're still a little rusty with it, that's okay. You're going to get better. These videos will help you. Step 4, once you've factored the thing, set each factor equal to 0. The stuff in parentheses, set it equal to 0 and solve for your variable is going to be step 5. We want to get our letters by itself. And this last step, step 6, is optional but recommended, at least in the beginning when you're solving these. Check your solutions. Plug the answers that you got back into your equation, the original equation, and if you get the same number on both sides, that means you've got a keeper. It's a solution. If you don't, that means there's a mistake somewhere. Please go back and fix it. Okay, thank you for watching this video, and I am going to see you in a little bit. I'm going to be doing some examples now on modeling this 6-step procedure. Well, actually 5-step. I'm going to leave step 6 out to make the videos a little shorter, but steps 1 through 5 I'm going to model in the next several videos. See you in a bit. Ciao.